Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we have the pleasure of talking about the stream Blitz is currently organizing on their main channel. We are going to do a quick summary because they're going to talk about Halloween events and future updates, and maybe that you're one of those lazy people that don't want to spend 1 hour of your time right in front of it. So let's do a summary, starting with Halloween, obviously. What I did for that is I isolated some screenshots explaining you briefly what happens. So here you take a look at Pharaoh's treasury, which is basically the free-to-play event for the Pharaoh. No, the Pharaoh is not necessarily going to be paid to win. We are going to see that right after, but when it comes to the Mage, which is the tier 5 reward, it's definitely achievable because you will only need 30 victories in order to get to this. It's guaranteed that everyone will get it, and it's for the best because the Mage seems to be an actual really interesting tank. When you unlock everything from that free-to-play event, you will receive the Mage, so the brand new tier 5 collector tank, 100,000 credits, 3 days of premium account, 3 bonuses multiplied by 5 experience thing, 2 ring key that we're gonna see after what they are good for, glyph, combat XP booster, crew XP booster, some avatar, free XP booster, and 1 camo. Concerning the Mage, they showed the statistics, and I think that the best way to understand what we are facing is basically to take a look at the tank it's based on, the Excelsior. The first thing you will notice considering the armor profile is that the Mage has a better turret armor sitting at 138mm, whereas on the hull it's the Excelsior already available in the game that will win because it has 120mm of armor instead of the 70 from the Mage. The second thing to notice is that the Excelsior DPM seems to be better, and it's kind of logical because the Excelsior is a one-shoot tank, which means that every time you shoot, you are going to reload for another shoot, whereas for the Mage, it's a little bit different because the tank is equipped with an autoloader featuring 4 shells in the magazine, 2 seconds between shells, and most importantly, a magazine reload time of 15 seconds, for a total of 110 alpha damage per shot, whereas with the Excelsior, it's 160. Finally, on the speed ability, it seems like the Mage is going to be a little bit less performing than the Excelsior because it sits at 35 kilometers per hour maximum, whereas the Excelsior is sitting at 39. So in definitive, when we take a look at both tanks, it seems like the Excelsior is going to be a little bit more armored on the hull with a better gun DPM plus a better mobility, but with the Mage you have a turret that will definitely be among the strongest at tier 5 on top of an auto-loading mechanism that still can be quite fun to play. And I'm quite proud of Wargaming for this one because even if it seems like yes, the tank are quite good looking and comparable to each other, when it comes to the statistics they made it different enough for me to consider it to be a new tank apart, not something copy-paste like we are used to when it comes to battle pass and things like that. And just in case you want to take a look at what the Mage looks like in battle, I'm sorry for the quality, but my internet sucks where I am, but you see 4 shells, 2 seconds between shells, and you don't see it because it's a picture, but basically the little hieroglyphs you see here are shining during the whole match, which makes it pretty cool. And if I'm not mistaken, this is coming with an attachment and not necessarily linked to the tank as just as you get it. You need to get a legendary camo, but this part is a little bit confusing for me because they just skipped it really fast and I couldn't really understand what they meant. Now we're gonna take a look at a little extract I took from the stream where they explain the phase 2 of the event that seems still to be free to play, which is a premiere for an Halloween event, and it's definitely for the best. So let's hear what Alexandra has to say. It's going to last for 1.5 minutes, and I feel like you don't necessarily need me to explain anything because she is going to sum up everything there is to know. Let's go.
Let's enter the pyramid, I guess. Well, first of all, it's beautiful, but what's happening here? Here you can see Pharaoh's treasury and wandering merchant. So what does it mean? Basically, it's some kind of chest where you can find tanks. Pharaoh's treasury is exactly the place where we hide new Pharaoh tank. How can you get it? First of all, you will need the rings. 2 of them you can find on the main event. 2 rings that will allow you to open this Pharaoh's treasury and try to get the new tier 7 collector Pharaoh tank. But as you might notice, the tank drops with a chance, but you can increase this chance. To increase the chance of the Pharaoh tank drop from the Pharaoh's treasury, you need some magical glyphs. One glyph you can find on the event stage, and some more glyphs you can get from Battlefield. Yeah, you can earn mastery badges, and these mastery badges will grant you glyphs that will increase the chance of the Pharaoh tank drop from the Pharaoh treasuries. Is it clear, at least for you?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Basically, to summarize briefly what she says, you have this little chest here where you can open in order to get the Pharaoh, but the Pharaoh is not guaranteed, and you have the drop chance that is cited right above the chest. Here, for example, on the stream, it's 30%. If you want to increase that number to get the tank guaranteed, you will need to get ace tankers. Every time you get an ace tanker, you are going to get a glyph. Every time you get a glyph, you increase the chances of the Pharaoh drop, which means that you can get it to 100% if you are good enough to get a lot of ace tankers during the length of the event. So it's approximately going to be in 10 days. So you will need roughly 19 ace tankers in 10 days to get the tank guaranteed. To be fair with you, as a good player, it shouldn't be a problem, but it's going to take a little bit of your time. But knowing that you can start getting those ace tankers at tier 4, I feel like everyone is going to still club in order to unlock the Pharaoh, and this is probably the best tactic I can give you. I'll do a whole video on that to give you the best tank to play with at tier 4 in order to unlock those ace tankers, but make sure to play low tiers in order to make it easier for you to get it as soon as possible. But on the paper, it seems like we don't have to pay anything, and it's pretty cool. On top of that, they are giving us an animated legendary avatar that looks pretty neat to be offered. To be fair. Now we're gonna take a look at another thing Wargaming said, where basically they're telling us that they improved the fun modes. I feel like they finally understand that we're a little bit pissed off at just playing regular games, regular battles, as I already mentioned in the video, same tanks, same positions, same maps. And I feel like they really want to improve those fun modes that are coming from time to time in order to keep their audience. And what is going to happen? And for that, I'm probably going to increase a little bit my gain volume, because otherwise you are not going to understand anything. But we are going to take a look at what Wargaming has to say on those game modes. Let's roll.
Your damage is increased by 50%, right? Well, yes, you can also receive more damage because I think it's like 40% more, but in any case, you have a 30% less reload time, which is amazing, so you can play really aggressively. And I would say that the decrease in dispersion by 50% is really awesome as well. So it means that you can just pop in, pop, try to get as many damage out as possible just to make sure that you cover an angle properly so that you don't get destroyed as well. But yeah, I would say it's very tactical. It kind of ups the game out there. So yeah, it's a real stake raiser.
Yeah, but play smart, not hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you like uprising? Yeah, maybe we just should play a battle in uprising that is active.
You saw that what they changed is two abilities, in fact. The one that they implemented is a passive one that will get featured on many tanks that will increase your damage by 50%, but the damage received by 40%. It's nice because it really fits tank destroyers, and I really hope that we're going to see a lot of tank destroyers with that. And on top of that, an active skill called Fortune 1. So active skill are basically the skills that you can pick up every time you die in uprising. And to be fair with you, increasing the chance to do the maximum roll is just great. Specifically, if you can get it on the FV1A3, it's going to be hilarious, because I guess that when you get to the maximum, it's going to be maybe 75%, even maybe, why not 100% chances of getting those maximum damage. And just imagine what it will look like with an FV1A3 using hash. You will probably get around 1.7 thousand damage every shot, which is going to bring us a little bit of the FV4005 stage. They also showcased us the Pharaoh in regular battles, and they most importantly explained what the special mechanism that comes with the tank was. If you remember, when I did my Halloween video on the Pharaoh, I talked about what we called desert forces, which is basically the skill linked to the Pharaoh, and we didn't know yet what kind of mechanism it was, and Wargaming revealed it just today. Basically, Desert Force is going to be a huge bonus to your crossing abilities on hard terrains. So for those of you that feel like I speak Chinese right now. What I mean is that basically on terrains that are not roads, you are going to be faster than the regular heavies, as well as when you are on desert map and desert map only, because this overall desert force thing works only on desert map, you are going to get your modules that will get repaired 50% faster. It's actually a good idea from them, in my opinion. It's not gonna make the tank game changing in any ways, but it's really cool. It's a little bit of a mix between the ability of the Annihilator with the speed boost to go fast and the Dracula ability to nearly instantly repair its track, but with less effectiveness and covering every single one of your modules, not only the tracks. For the other statistics of the tank, it doesn't feel like it's going to be the greatest tank of all time, and I feel like it could be fun 1 or 2 weeks, but after people are gonna get bored out of it. It's only my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, and I hope actually that I'm wrong, because obviously if people are playing this tank a lot, it means that Wargaming achieved to make people have fun. But this is pretty much what it is and nothing else. We thought that maybe it would be linked to the gun in any ways, but it seems like it's not the case. This year, Wargaming wanted to upgrade the mobility, touching statistics that we don't at first would have the... how could I say this? Let's say that the crossing terrain abilities is not something as a developer I would change at first on a tank or make revolutionary. So we will see how it goes when the tank is released, but you can basically expect what you are currently seeing on screen. Not that bad, but not broken either, the perfect mix. After, they showed briefly the new Italian tank destroyers, and for that I feel like we don't necessarily need to talk too much about them, because you have access to the 9.4 update test server. There are many people that already reviewed those tanks. You can find replays right now because they're finally open to the public, so we are gonna skip that part in order to make the video a little bit less long. I'm gonna come back a little bit on the Italian tank destroyers because I heard something that tickled me a little bit. Don't worry, no offense to Wargaming whatsoever. Let's just hear what they have to say about this mechanism that they are showing on screen right now and how they are qualifying it. Here, closely what they say.
Autoloader, yes, sorry, thank you. So it autoloads, it has a pretty good frontal armoring, and it has a backup or reserve shell mechanic, which you can see on your screen right now.
Guys, here we go with new mechanics that never happened in our game yet, but meet and greet, it's new mechanics reserve shell. So our new Italian tank destroyers will feature these mechanics starting from tier 7 and will finish up to tier 10.
Basically what they're saying is that this thing is a new mechanism. It's just an autoloader that takes the last shell longer to reload. I can understand that from a certain point of view it could be considered like a new mechanism, because unlike a regular autoloader where it takes the exact same amount of time to reload all shells, or with a regular auto reloader where there is not that much difference between the first, the second and the third shell, maybe it's going to be a 4-second gap, but it's not that much. Here what they're basically saying, or what they are calling a new mechanism, is just downgrading the time it takes for the last shell to be loaded. I don't know, but to me it's not a new mechanism, it's just plain laziness. It's only my opinion, you are entitled to yours, but I don't feel like this is a new mechanism, and I really hope that even if they talk about new mechanism, we're still gonna get something new during the 10.0 update, because to be fair, it feels like it's a joke for them to call that a new mechanism. Let's roll. And that's how they finished the stream, because there is nothing else they announced. They just talked about Italian tanks for a little bit longer than expected. And to be fair, Italian tank destroyers, we already talked about them many times on the channel, so we're not gonna bother. But it seems like overall, when it comes to the Halloween event, everything seems fine. It seems like it's really going to be a free-to-play, which is a premiere for an Halloween tank since the Tankenstein, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm sorry if I am, but I wasn't playing when the Tankenstein was out. And well, beside that, it seems like it's going to be a good event. They are implementing a new line into the game, and obviously for new players or regular players that don't already own every single tank of the game, it's quite a nice update, and we could literally upload them. Like, they really did a good job. Now, for the reserve shell, I'm gonna wait for them to release those tanks. I'll do an analysis. I'll try to see if this is really a new mechanism. I don't think so, but you know, I'm open-minded. I mean, if they prove me that I was wrong and that it really feels like a new mechanism, I'm gonna sort out my apology hat to Wargaming because they deserve it. So hopefully you enjoyed. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like, and share. If you have any questions or things that are still a little bit blurred in your mind, do not forget to ask it in the comments. I'll try to answer you if I can, etc. And hopefully I'm gonna see you soon for a new video. Bye.